The biggest unknown in Minecraft right now is which block can update an observer that causes the minimum amount of lag onto the server. That is very different from client lag. So I made this massive setup here to test that. And let me show you a simple example when this comes into play. You have an observer, let's say like this, and another one, and you want to transport the signal from this lever to this piston. So a lot of people, for example, have lied to me and told me that the node block is definitely the best one. Sure, it works, but also so does an observer. So does a trapdoor, for example. Those were used very commonly in the past. Or even another piston, technically, if you don't bother with the extra size. The only one I'm not testing right now is hoppers, because we know that they cause lag even when nothing is being sent through them. But there are a lot of other options like droppers, dispensers, and so on. I listed them all here, and we'll go over them one by one. I'll use the carpet mode, which is currently installed on this 1.20.2 version. This is the Prototech Next Gen Creative Multiplayer server I'm currently on. Many other people in the Minecraft technical community have access to this, so they can easily verify this. This video will have no cuts in it or anything like that. I'll show this right as it happens. I'll do, let's say, one test initially for each of these, and when we find some that are very close to each other, I can do more of them. So let's begin. This is 1000 of these blocks every time. So there's 1000 observers, this is 1000 repeaters, 1000 comparators, 1000 trapdoors, 1000 iron doors, 1000 even fence gates, and so on. Since there's 10 times 100. Let's start the first one. This is a 4 game ticked clock on observers. We'll go to the end to verify that this is actually running. And all of them are being updated. As you can see, all of them are being now updated. I'm well within the view distance of that. And now let's do take health. .243. Let's stop this. Let's start the repeater one. You can see the last line of these doesn't update. So does the first one, but it shouldn't make too much of a difference. Slash take health. As you can see, I also stopped moving before I did the request, because me moving around 7.34. So this is significantly laggier than just using observers. Let's do comparators. For some reason I had that inverted. .86. Let's do a couple more. Let's see if this ever goes below 7.3. 8.6. 7, 8.3, 8.6. So this is clearly a lot worse. Let's also do a couple repeater ones, just to be really sure. $7.4, yeah, this seems to also have lesser swings. 7.8, yeah. So repeaters are consistently much better. And then comparators, this is already a massive improvement compared to what people have been told for a long time. Let's now try trapdoors. I would expect these ones to be pretty good, because these were used for the longest time. $7.478. So this seems to be pretty much the same as repeaters. 7.9. 7.9. So this might even be slightly worse. Oh god, 9.0. That's a lot more. 8.5. 8.5. So this is actually worse, which is surprising. Or at least comparable to these ones. There might be some measurement errors in this, which I totally expect. This mod is definitely not perfect, but it's the best one we have. I'll run this 10 times, each of these, and I'll write them down in the description, how much I got. $11. Okay, this is significantly more. So these ones are definitely much worse, which is to be expected since these are 2 blocks instead of 1. There's also the fact that the repeaters and comparators add a delay, which these ones don't. This will be an interesting one, comparing these to the trapdoors. $7.7, so this seems to be about the same. 7.0, yeah, this seems to be fluctuating about the same values. 7.2. 8.4. Yeah, there seems to be some fluctuation in these results, which is fantastic. Even though there's nothing else running on this server, even the spawn chunks are empty of any machines or entities. I killed all entities before I started this. Now let's use bells, and now you can thank me for having sound turned off. This would be insanely loud otherwise. 8.1. That looks pretty promising. These ones are interesting. 6.9. It's also a lot less than I would have expected. I always thought these ones would be worse, but doesn't seem to do much. 8.0. Another recent addition are these dragon heads, which also work, as you can see. These ones and the bells are interesting because these ones don't up are not what's the word? I think these ones can update droppers. I'm forgetting if these ones can do it. So let's do this one. Take health. 7.1. 6.3, which is a lot less than a lot of the other things. 7.12. 6.8. This is interesting. I would have expected these ones to not do as well, but they seem to be so far doing the best. 6.7. 7.3. Okay, maybe it was just imprecision. 7.167. Yeah, now they seem to have defaulted to the same amounts all the other ones do. Or maybe not. So maybe these ones seem so far the best, I think. Let's compare it to these ones. So just observers. So we got like 6.5 on average. Maybe 6.7. 7.0. They might actually even edge it out against the pure observers, which I have previously found to be about the best it can get. Which is interesting because these ones update redstone components. So they are definitely sending redstone updates, not just changing their shape. Yeah, so these ones are actually comparable to the dragon heads, which kind of starts to mean that all the machines built with trapdoors are might just need to be replaced with all these dragon heads, which will look rather interesting. But if our goal is to get the maximum out of our machines, yeah, these ones I expect to do really badly. Ignore the client lag, which is going to be pretty rough on pistons. Client lag doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I have 1 FPS or whatever, as long as the server can handle it just fine. 12 point... oh god, yeah, these ones are definitely worse so far. Even worse than the double doors. Yeah, definitely worse than the double doors. Which makes sort of sense, because you can use these to also transport signal 2 blocks vertically, which is a surprising level of balance. Let's try these ones. At this point, I have been lied to about these things so many times by people in the technical community. I have seen the more competent people will tell you they simply don't know, and the much more annoying people will tell you some kind of myth. I would expect these to be the same. Okay, that seems to check out. Yeah. Now to the other ones. These ones are droppers. These have been a huge problem in the past, but apparently Mojang did a lot of fixing, so maybe they are not as terrible now. But they do have interiors, where the program probably has to check every slot in this. 7.1, that's very promising. 7.6. 7.3. So they seem to do about comparably to all the other ones. Trapdoors and repeaters and the fence gates and yeah, even the bells. Surprisingly, they seem to do more than the dragon heads and the observers. Now let's go over to dispensers. These are much harder to produce, or at least were much harder to produce before we got auto crafters. Seven 7.6. This seems to be about the same. Seven 7.46. Yeah, this seems to be about the same. They might be slightly worse, which probably isn't. There aren't. So they seem to be about the same. Let's look at node blocks. These were commonly shown to me as the best option. Even replacing all the trapdoors I was told with node blocks should help a lot. Which I kind of doubt, but let's see. $9.9. Okay, that's a lot more than all the other ones. 8.6. You also can see they are not cross-updating each other here. I made sure to power them through a block. So not cross-updating. What I wanted to say, one observer isn't powering more than one node block. And as you can see, these ones do significantly worse than everything except the double doors and pistons. So yeah, if you were watching any of my past videos or past machines where I used node blocks, go replace them with probably trapdoors in most cases, or even better, these dragon heads, if you can. And judging by the fact that like 99% of things in the Minecraft storage archive use these, it's not looking very good. So basically all of those machines are bad, or rather can be improved significantly by just removing the node blocks in them and replacing them with something else. Now the interesting part. Rails. Because you can use rails to make these machines without emitting sound. I think the heads are also without emitting sounds, but they are much more annoying to get, if I remember correctly. So, and these ones can also transport signal for much longer distances. So let's compare these ones. I had to line them up like this. It results in a couple more observers, but shouldn't be too bad. $9.1. Okay, this seems to be about what we expected. This is actually surprisingly correct. That making machines with rails just to make them for the sake of reducing sound is a terrible idea. Technically, when using rails for anything other than when you need to transport the signal instantly, is also a terrible idea. Let's use in this case, activator rails. Who knows, maybe these ones are much better. I hope not, but let's see. Okay, 10.74, that's basically almost the exact same value. 10.9, okay, this seems to line up. This is still better than using the pistons or double doors though. 9.9, yeah. So the rails are basically equivalent, which is great. So so based on versions, like if it's easier to farm gold or iron, you can use either one of those. Now we arrive to the last one, which is the trickiest to test because we have to use repeaters here. And we have to fire them much slower. So this will be not comparable to these tests, unless I would, I think, place 4 of these at least. Yeah, 4 of these, which I can try, but even still, we have stuff like this to do with. Let's see how Redstone Torches do. These ones emit light, which should mean they are worse. Okay, the last one reached. 7.8, okay. Next thing I will try is I will replace all the torches at the top layer with some other blocks. So around 8. Okay, and let's replace them. I guess let's try the node blocks first. Let's see if they are better than node blocks. / set node block. You can see that only the ones in the correct rows are updating. .9. So no, they are definitely worse than node blocks. Let's see if we can get them to be worse than double doors. Or maybe let's try pistons, I guess. Then we can try double doors if they happen to be. Or I can just do this. Set piston facing up. Never mind. Okay, this is still working just fine. .4. So this is actually still less than the torches. Those were about 8. Yes, this seems to be consistently less. So torches seem to be the worst of the worst, which is pretty ironic. One thing we could also try on these ones, here, which I forgot, is redstone dust. I don't give it too much hope, but since you guys stayed for the end of the video, let's do it. Set cyan. //set redstone wire, I think it is called. Okay. I can't actually do it like this. Never mind. We know that redstone dust is the worst one. So I hope I shattered a lot of misinformation going around. So far it seems that the best options are these dragon heads and observers, followed by repeaters, comparators, single doors and single trapdoors, I guess, fence gates, bells, observers and droppers. Then there are node blocks. Then there are pistons. Then there are node blocks. Then there are double doors or two high doors. Then there are pistons, and then the worst ones are the torches. And I can't exactly remember. I think the rails were better than the node blocks. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. Please send this to everyone who tries to lie to you about these things, and have a nice day.